The story of Biafra is not a new story. It does not begin with a war, nor with a declaration made just yesterday. It is an ancient narrative etched into the very soil of West Africa. Historians speak of Biafra as one of the continent's earliest civilizations. Some accounts trace its origins as far back as 3000 BC. This is a legacy of millennia, a deep well of culture, tradition and identity. Imagine the societies that flourished then, the systems of governance, the art, the philosophies. This was a land with a recognized place in the world long before the lines of modern maps were drawn by foreign hands. Understanding Biafra today requires us to first listen to these echoes from a profound past. This history is not merely a collection of dates, it is the lifeblood of a people. The name Biafra itself carries a fascinating story, a whisper from the past. It is believed to be a medieval Portuguese transliteration of two Igbo words. Bia means come and Fulu means see. Together, Biafulu forms an invitation, come and see. This was supposedly the call extended to Portuguese explorers. They were invited to witness the kingdom's organization and perhaps its splendor. This etymology, though debated by some scholars, resonates deeply. It speaks of a confident people, open to the world, proud of their home. The name became a symbol, preserved in local traditions, like in Afara Ukwu, Ibeku Kingdom in Umuahia. It is a name that has been invoked through generations, a reminder of an independent and vibrant past. Before the colonial era redrew the map of Africa, Biafra was a known entity. It wasn't a void waiting to be filled or named by outsiders. It possessed intricate social structures, trade networks, and distinct cultural practices. The people of this region contributed significantly to the tapestry of global human experience, though these contributions are often overlooked in mainstream historical accounts. Their understanding of community, of justice, and of spirituality was rich and complex. This inherent sovereignty, this long-standing existence as a distinct people forms a crucial part of their identity. It is this deep-rooted sense of self that fuels the enduring aspiration for self-governance, a desire to be masters of their own destiny once more, a feeling that predates modern political constructs. This ancient heritage is not simply a relic of the past to be admired in a museum, it is a living, breathing force in the present. It informs the collective consciousness of the Biafran people. It provides a powerful counter-narrative to the colonial assertion that Nigeria was a unified entity created for the benefit of its inhabitants. The memory of a self-governing existence, of a recognized place among nations, is a potent inspiration. It is the foundation upon which the modern struggle for self-determination is built. The echoes of Biafulu still call, not just to outsiders, but to Biafrans themselves, urging them to see and reclaim a future rooted in their profound historical identity and their inherent right to choose their path. The quest for Biafran sovereignty is deeply intertwined with a universal human aspiration. This is the natural right to self-determination. It is the principle that all peoples have the right to freely determine their political status. They should be able to pursue their economic, social, and cultural development without external compulsion. This is not a radical new idea. It is enshrined in international covenants and is a cornerstone of modern concepts of liberty and justice. For Biafrans, this right is not an abstract legal concept. It is a deeply felt necessity, born from historical experience and a persistent yearning for autonomy. The idea that a people should choose their own government and control their own destiny is fundamental. The creation of Nigeria as a colonial construct by Britain is a critical part of this story. This amalgamation, primarily in 1914, was done without the genuine consent of the diverse indigenous peoples it brought together. Various groups with distinct languages, cultures, and pre-colonial political systems were merged into a single administrative unit. This was largely for the administrative convenience and economic benefit of the colonial power. This contrasts sharply with Biafra's own historical recognition as a distinct region and people. The imposition of a new national identity without regard for existing loyalties and systems sowed seeds of discord. These seeds would tragically bear fruit in the decades that followed, leading to profound and lasting grievances. The years following this amalgamation, and particularly after Nigeria's independence, were marked by systemic injustices against the Igbo people and others in the Biafran region. These were not isolated incidents, but a pattern of economic marginalization, political suppression, and at its horrifying zenith, atrocities that many describe as genocide during the 1967 to 1970 war. The feeling of being second-class citizens in their own land became pervasive. Their resources were exploited, yet development often seemed to bypass them. Their political voices were often stifled. This history of suffering and disenfranchisement is not easily forgotten. It is this legacy of unaddressed grievances that necessitates, in the eyes of many Biafrans, the complete restoration of their sovereignty. The Ahhiara Declaration, proclaimed on June 1, 1969, during the Biafran War, articulated the philosophical underpinnings of Biafran independence. It was a powerful assertion of identity, justice, and the right to self-preservation. It spoke of a new society based on African values, free from corruption and neo-colonial influences. Decades later, this historic document finds its echo. The recent declaration of the Eternal and Sovereign Kingdom of Biafra on May 30, 2025, explicitly reaffirms the principles of the Ahhiara Declaration. It has been renamed the Eternal and Sovereign Kingdom Declaration Decree. This continuity demonstrates the enduring nature of the Biafran aspiration and the unextinguished flame of their demand for self-determination and justice. The Biafran War, which raged from 1967 to 1970, remains a raw and defining period in the collective memory. It was a conflict born out of the unresolved tensions and injustices that followed Nigeria's independence. The declaration of the Republic of Biafra under Lieutenant Colonel Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu was a desperate act of self-preservation. The war that ensued was brutal. It was characterized by immense suffering, particularly for the civilian population. A blockade imposed by Nigeria led to widespread starvation and disease. Millions of lives, predominantly Igbo, were lost. This tragic chapter is not just history, it is a wound carried by survivors and passed down through generations, shaping identities and resolve. A poignant figure from this era is General Philip Effiong. He was the Vice President of Biafra. As the war neared its end, with Biafran resistance crumbling, it fell to him to make the agonizing decision to surrender. He did so to prevent further loss of life. However, his words at the time carried a prophetic warning. He cautioned that if the root causes of the conflict, the injustices and the denial of self-determination were not addressed, future generations of Biafrans would inevitably rise again to reclaim their freedom. This warning has resonated powerfully through the decades. It underscores the belief that peace cannot be built on a foundation of unaddressed grievances, and that the spirit of Biafra would endure until true justice was achieved. In remembrance of these immense sacrifices, Biafra Heroes Day is observed annually on May 30th. This day holds profound significance. It is a solemn occasion to honor the millions who perished during the Civil War. It also commemorates those who have died in the ongoing struggle for self-determination in the years since. On May 30th, 2025, the 58th anniversary of Biafra's 1967 Declaration of Independence was marked with widespread compliance to a sit-at-home directive in the southeast and south-south regions. This quiet act of remembrance and defiance speaks volumes. It demonstrates the deep-seated commitment to the Biafran cause and the enduring power of memory in fueling the quest for freedom. The struggle did not end with the war, nor did General Effiong's words fade. On May 30th, 2025, a new chapter was boldly written. His Serene Royal Majesty, Baron Eri Begad, the Lord Chancellor and Head of State, signed the Declaration of the Eternal and Sovereign Kingdom of Biafra. This declaration, made in Biafra House, Guard Biafra, proclaimed the sovereign kingdom of Biafra as an already recognized ancient First World country and a plurinational sovereign legal entity. It represents a direct fulfillment of Effiong's prophecy. It is a testament to the resilience of a people who, despite immense hardship, have never relinquished their claim to their ancestral land and their right to self-governance. This declaration signals a renewed determination to achieve full sovereignty. The modern struggle for Biafran independence has seen various movements and figures come to the fore. The indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has been particularly prominent in recent years. Led by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who has been detained since 2021, IPOB has consistently advocated for Biafran's self-determination. While their methods, including sit-at-home protests, have sometimes been controversial and have had significant economic impact, the organization maintains its commitment to non-violent advocacy. The widespread observance of Biafra Heroes Day and the calls for Kanu's release highlight the significant support this movement commands. Their efforts, along with those of other groups and individuals, keep the dream of Biafra alive in the hearts of many, both at home and in the diaspora. A significant aspect of the May 30th, 2025 declaration is its firm stance regarding Nigeria's status in Biafran territory. The Charter explicitly declares Nigeria an occupying force. This is a powerful assertion that reframes the relationship between Biafra and the Nigerian state. Furthermore, the declaration includes an appeal for international assistance. It calls upon the global community to support Biafra against what it describes as the occupation by Nigeria, and also references historical grievances involving British colonialists and alleged ongoing threats. This appeal seeks to move the Biafran cause beyond a domestic issue, positioning it as a matter of international law and justice concerning self-determination and the rights of indigenous peoples. The declaration also voices strong criticism of international institutions. It accuses the United Nations, the European Union, the United Kingdom, the African Union and ECOWAS, along with Nigeria itself, of failing to resolve the political injustices that have plagued Biafrans. It specifically mentions the failure to address the 1967 to 1970 genocide. Such criticisms reflect a deep-seated frustration with the international community's perceived indifference or inaction over decades of struggle. The Charter goes further, making serious allegations against certain international actors regarding the suppression of news and support for entities that perpetuate instability in the region. These claims underscore a profound disillusionment with existing global governance structures. Looking towards the horizon, the vision for Biafra's future, as articulated by its proponents, is one of hope and renewal. It is a vision of a sovereign nation built on the principles of justice, peace and prosperity for all its citizens. The path to realizing this dream is undoubtedly fraught with challenges. Yet the spirit of resilience that has characterized the Biafran struggle for generations remains undimmed. The declaration of May 30th, 2025 marks not an end, but a bold new beginning. It is an assertion of an ancient identity and an unwavering commitment to self-governance. The hope is for a Biafra, where its people can finally determine their own destiny, harness their resources for their own development, and live in freedom and dignity, contributing their unique voice to the concert of nations.